Welcome to another episode of Jay's Garage. We're going to do something completely different today. We're going to talk about high speed, one of the fastest cars in the world, actually the fastest car in the world in a particular category. It's also a diesel, it's also fuel efficient, and it's also owned by my good friend Gail Banks. Gail, how are you?
I'm good.
Gail is the leader in diesel technology, and he owns the fastest diesel drag truck in the world, correct?
It is.
And
yeah.
also you have the record for the world's fastest pickup at Bonneville.
222.
222,
yeah.
but you drove the car to Bonneville, broke the record, and then drove it back.
And towed its trailer there.
See, that's what I like, because that's what they used to do back in the early days, in the 20s and the 30s. Guys would drive their car to Le Mans or wherever, you know, take the lights off, disconnect some pieces, win the race, and then drive the thing all the way back. I mean, to me, that's very cool. Now, I know you like gas cars as well, but diesels is really what you see as the future, correct?
I think diesel's a bridge technology from where we're at to where we might be going, which would be hydrogen or highly electric, those sorts of things.
Now, tell us about this vehicle here.
Okay, this is a 3,000-pound Chevrolet S-10 Pro Stock truck. As campaigned in NHRA for a number of years. This is the last one that was ever built. It's kind of wrong to drag race pickup trucks, but people do it.
Right.
But to do it with a diesel in it,
right.
It's like, what are you thinking? A smoky, smelly, heavy, all of those negatives.
Right.
Well, this is today's diesel, and it's lightweight, high speed. We're making about 1,320 horsepower.
Adam, how many cubic inches?
This one is 402 cubic inches, or nominally 6.6 liters. This is the most fuel-efficient engine in my 50-year career, and it's in a race truck.
Yeah, we're going to do a great burnout. You got to do it. I know you're waiting for the burnout. We'll get to that in a little bit. But if you're a gearhead, I think you'll enjoy hearing about this, because I think diesels really are the future. You know, you go to Europe, and I think 48 or 50% of all cars are diesels, and for some reason, they really haven't caught on here. You know, I think it's because we equate diesels with smelly gas stations. You always have your nice clean pump, and then, your diesel pump's way over there in the corner, and there's a guy, hi lady, how are you? You know, it looks a little
back
creepy.
in the dark.
Yeah. But diesel is actually much cleaner now.
What we're running in this is the ultra low sulfur, the current on-road diesel. Okay. We fuel this thing at a truck stop.
Well, I'll tell you what, let's take the hood off it now and show people exactly what we're dealing with. We're starting with our basic V8 is what?
It's a Duramax V8 out of a new Chevrolet or GMC pickup truck.
Right.
The block and the heads are stock castings, the heads being aluminum. Crankshaft is also a stock crankshaft.
And that's fairly new or fairly recent. Isn't it aluminum heads on a diesel motor?
Yeah, it is pretty recent.
I mean, that's something, because you always think, when I was a kid, diesels were so rattly, and the heads had to be incredibly heavy to not pound themselves apart.
It's called the combustion recipe. We watch the pressure in the cylinder when we're running these engines on the dynamometer, so we can tailor the combustion pressure curve. In the old days, you couldn't do that. These aluminum heads, I still heard a week ago some guy going, "Oh, that'll never work."
Right.
But they've been on these engines for 6 or 7 years now.
Yeah.
And we've tripled the horsepower output of this engine, more than tripled it. And we're still running the stock heads.
Let's explain to people, you know, this common rail diesel here. What kind of fuel pressure we're talking? It's tremendously high.
Yeah, it's approaching 30,000 pounds per square inch.
Okay, when you figure an automobile runs on anywhere from 2 to 15 pounds of pressure. Right?
Yeah.
And that's really been the key lately that has made
the key,
diesels.
Actually getting the fuel atomized, more refined particles, so they can oxidize or burn with the oxygen in there, and no smoke out the tailpipe.
Right.
When we do a burnout with this, you'll see a lot of smoke.
But it's not from the tailpipe.
It's all tire.
Let's go through it. We have twin turbochargers.
Twin turbos, the caps are over the air inlets. Boost air into the intake manifold castings that we've made for this rascal. And we've got some nitrous tanks in the cab. 2 of them, we use about 6-7 pounds of nitrous in one run. We inject nitrous right into the boost lines, a certain amount for staging and doing the burnout, and then a greater amount for a full power run. Normally with a turbo, you have an intercooler because you're heating the air in the compressor.
Right.
The nitrous acts as additional oxygen and it chills the air. So you're 400 plus here, and you're about 130 here.
Okay, and this here, these are bleed valves for
Yeah,
the
those
nitrous?
are purge lines for the nitrous. So
Okay.
when we stage it, you'll see this plume of nitrous. He's just clearing the lines.
We talked about how fuel efficient this was. This is the gas tank. I mean, it's about a gallon.
About a gallon,
and
yeah.
you can make half a dozen runs in the thing. And let's talk about the transmission. Now, it is a manual transmission, but without a clutch, it's got a torque converter.
Yeah.
So you have to shift it. It won't shift automatically.
Exactly.
Okay. Explain to people, because we have a lot of people that are kind of new to this, exactly what a torque converter does. It's like a fluid drive.
Mm-hmm. It's a fluid coupling between the engine and the rest of the vehicle, the rest of the powertrain. It has the ability to slip, so when you're at idle or low speed, the brake pedal in your car
Right.
prevents any forward motion.
Right.
The minute you get RPM going, it starts coupling.
When you're sitting at the line, you've got your foot on the brake more or less. You're holding the torque converter.
Actually, we're locking. There's a
Right.
brake on the output of the torque converter.
Okay.
And we're locking that.
So it's spinning the fluid and getting it hot.
Real hot.
Yeah, yeah.
And we have a little ice chamber behind the
That
rear
goes
window.
right under here.
And we cool the transmission fluid in there, or torque converter fluid in there. Once he releases that brake, the power feeds instantly into the transmission. He's in low gear, and you see this thing just paint rubber.
We've got the sheet metal off. Here's what he's talking about cooling the transmission. We were warming the car up earlier. It had ice in it, and that water's hot just from sitting here. And that's still the easiest way to cool it, isn't it? Just old-fashioned ice.
Yeah.
There's no Freon. There's no other kind of high-tech cooling. It's like water
we've
is still the best.
tried a lot of different ways, but water and ice
Yeah.
absorb a lot of energy.
Let's take a look at the interior. We've got the doors off the vehicle now. Walk us through here, Gail.
Here you see the shift linkage for the 5-speed.
So it is a 5-speed.
It's a 5-speed clutchless transmission.
Now, do you use all 5 speeds in a quarter-mile run?
We do.
Wow.
In fact, we use the first 2 in about the first 60 feet.
Now, most diesels rev up to about 3,000, 3,500, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
What kind of revs are you getting on this motor?
Well, we're about 5,800 RPM.
Wow. Now, that's a lot
Yeah.
for a diesel, obviously.
That is a lot.
Okay.
I dream of more.
Right.
Our engine control unit, which is over here, is something we've developed for these engines at Banks. And I put a 6,000 RPM limit in the original design. Now I'm starting to regret that.
Yeah.
The speed the fuel burns at
Right.
ultimately will determine max RPM.
And what is this? This a line lock?
This is the line lock.
And explain
Yes.
to people what a line lock is.
Basically locks up the brakes on the line.
Just the front wheel, right?
Yes.
So it kind of holds you, it keeps you from creeping forward.
Yes.
Okay. Take us from left to right on the gauge.
This is braking pressure
Right.
in the hydraulic system, oil pressure, water temperature, and boost pressure,
Okay.
tachometer,
Right.
shift light.
Right.
So that's basically it. We're
And this is
logging all the other
You brake
stuff.
here and your throttle, just
Yes.
as having a standard automobile. Can we take some of this sheet metal off? Maybe we can see the torque converter. Is that a magnesium transmission?
Yeah, it's a magnesium Liberty 5-speed.
Okay.
Has 2 counter shafts or cluster gears, so you don't deflect the main shaft and bend or break gears.
You run any special fluid? Or you run the standard?
It is a very high temp
Right.
silicon-based fluid.
Okay, and that's your transmission level check right there, I guess, isn't it?
It is.
That's your
It's got
dipstick?
it's got a dipstick. It's got
Right.
a pan on the bottom. We're cooling that, of course, with the ice in the back.
Right. Now, for those of you that are watching to say, what is the point of this? Is it just guys, wasting time and energy drag racing? Well, there's actually a lot of real-world application. Gail works with the armed forces and long-haul truckers and the FBI and the Army and Navy and all of this to come up with more fuel-efficient vehicles. What you see here is the fact that you have a vehicle that is the fastest vehicle of its kind in the world, and it does it on probably a tenth of the fuel that,
Exactly.
that a gas car would use. So that can transfer to semis, tanks, all kinds of other technology, and that's what you do, right?
That's exactly what it's all about.
Yeah.
We look at these racers that we run as test beds.
Right.
We're developing technology while we're racing. There's not a lot of ways to test these engines or to push the edge.
Right.
And why not do it in a speed contest as well?
Let's meet the driver. Wes, come on in here.
Yeah.
This is Wes Anderson. As you see, Wes is kind of younger, more handsome version of Gale. This is what Gale would have been 30 years ago.
Yeah.
What's your best time?
It's been 7:77 and a quarter mile at
Wow.
180.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Yeah, I guess so. A lot of people think a drag racer just gets in, you go, and you press the gas and you go. But there's a lot more work involved in there.
That's basically about it, Jay. Just hold on and look
Okay.
for the finish line.
I was wrong. That's it. Okay.
Yeah,
That's
there's
it.
nothing to it.
You just get a guy who looks kind of like Gale, and you put there and you step on it. But and what is your shift point? 5,800?
About 4,800.
About 4,800. 4,800. Okay. Because again, a diesel makes torque so far, so
Exactly.
low down. You know, when you see F1 engines going revving at 18,000 and 20,000 RPM, they're making all their power at the top. But the diesel makes all its power kind of at the bottom or in the middle and holds it, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's extending the RPM range is what I'm talking about. During burnouts, we'll hit 55 to 5,800.
Right.
Going through the lights will be well over 5,000.
Well, let's put some of it back together, fire it up. Oh, let's get some fresh ice for our torque converter. Now, if you'd like more information on this, we kind of touched the surface. If you're a real gearhead, you can go to Gale Banks' website. What's your website?
It's bankspower.com.
Bankspower.com, and they will take you through every aspect of this engine.
Oh, there's some neat
and how
stuff.
they put it together.
Yes.
And how you can do some of this stuff to yours. Wes, fire it up. Let's see how it sounds.
Not bad. There you go.
Let's go do a burnout.
Yeah.